All right, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on how to calculate an investment property. So in the last video that we did, it was based upon an all-cash deal. But today we are going to take a look at cash versus financing. So what we're going to do is we're going to see exactly, based upon the power of leverage, is financing better or is it better just to pay cash for a property? So we're going to dive right into this and let's take a look. So on our last video, we talked about this as far as on a cash deal. We made it very simple and was based upon a property that was at $100,000. But I want you to take a look at these 5 things because this is going to be very important. Number 1, you always got to look at the price of the property that you are purchasing, right? The second thing is actually, what are the rental incomes for that property? Then the second thing is that you want to walk down the expenses, but we're going to go through the expenses here shortly, okay? I'm going to break it down for you. Then we are going to take a look at the cash flow. How much money you are actually making after the expenses. Then we are going to take a look at our rate of return. This is what our yield is, right? So let's move on. So now, in this scenario, we look at a cash deal. We purchase a home at $100,000. The income annually is $12,000, okay? So that's $1,000 a month for 12 months. That's $12,000. The expenses here is $2,860. The cash flow is $9,200 a year. Then our rate of return is 9.2%. I want you to focus on this now. 9.2%. This is on a cash deal. So how do we actually calculate this? So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take a look at your income. You're going to minus your expenses, and this is your total right here. You're going to take this number, your total of your cash flow, divided by your total purchase price, because this is cash out of pocket. Then from your cash out of pocket, this is how you get the 9.2%. You guys with me?
I'm with you.
All right. So let's move on. So now we have to take a look at the expenses because the expenses are going to be different between a cash purchase versus a financing because you have PITI. But I'll get into that in just a minute. So for this case study here, let's take a look. For an all-cash deal, we have property taxes, okay? Property taxes on this one for $100,000 is about $480 annually, okay? Then we have insurance, $380 a year. We have sewage and trash. Now, depending on your state, sometimes the tenants will pay for it. But here in Nevada, these are 2 voluntary liens against the property. So I like to pay for it. But what we do is we actually increase the rent. So that's how we get that money back. So in this scenario, we have an HOA at $600 annually. So this totals out to about $2,860. And that's what our expense is every single year on a cash deal. So now let's take a look. We're going to base this upon financing now. So a couple things are going to change here when it comes to financing. When you do financing, the property taxes are going to be accurate here, okay? Insurance, this is going to be different. And the reason why it's going to be different is because when you have insurance on a rental property and also when you have a mortgage, this number is going to be completely different. So we're going to make some changes to that. The sewage is correct. The trash is correct, and also the HOA. So the first thing that we need to do is really figure out what is our mortgage, PITI, okay? So let's go to this. What we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to make this in red, PITI, okay? Now, what is PITI? So when you get a mortgage, it's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So remember that, okay? So the best thing to do is when you calculate a property, we know that the property that we're going to purchase is $100,000, right? So there's actually an app that you can go to, which is Zillow, which is a payment calculator. So if we purchase a property at $100,000, so you purchase property at $100,000, okay? You're putting down 20%, right? Your down payment is 20%. 20% of this is $20,000. Now, on any investment deal that you do, this is how it works. No matter if you're buying a business or anything like that, the whole idea about investing in anything is how much money is actually going out of pocket and what that rate of return is, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. So we're putting down 20%, and let's just say this is based upon a 3.5 interest rate in today's market, okay? Now, that being said, let's take a look at this number. Remember this number, 20,000, because that's what's out of pocket. Now there's, escrow fees and stuff like that, but I'm not going to dive too deep into that because I don't want to confuse you guys. But I really want you to focus on this, and I'm trying to make this very simple. So this is how much is actually going out of pocket. So remember this, okay? So let's figure out what the PITI, right? So basically, when you make a principal, interest, taxes, insurance, this gets wiped out. So you no longer have this on this for this scenario. But I'm going to include this all in here, okay? So your total a month is $487 a month minus all this right here, okay? So now what we need to do is calculate all this. So let's figure that out. So our payment is $487 plus another $1,000, right? Correct? $1,000, guys?
$1,000.
We're going to do $1,000. So that's a total of
$1,487.
What is it?
$1,487.
$1,487? Okay, hold on. Let me jump back because I made a mistake. And this is where the mistake is. First, we got to times this by 12 because we're going to base this upon it annually. Sorry about that, guys. So we're going to do 487 times 12. All right? 12 months. And that's going to equal $5,844. Got that?
Yeah.
Now we're going to calculate all this together plus another 1,000, right? So we're going to take 5,844, plus 584 plus 1,000, basically it's
68.
There you go, guys. All right, so Rudy, remember that number.
Okay.
Okay, you got that number. Here we go. So we know what that number is. 6,844, right?
Yeah.
So now what we need to do, so it's
6,844.
844. That is my total expenses for the whole year. All right? Mm-hmm. So now we need to take a look at our income. How much are we making? $1,000 a month, so that's 12,000. So now we need to subtract that by 12,000. And I got to write this down so that way we make it simple. So your total profit on this investment deal is $5,156. Okay? So that's what you would actually net, right? So I put in $20,000 for a property that's $100,000. I'm leveraging out my money. And basically with minus all the expenses, this is what I'm making a year. $5,156. But the most important thing that you need to take a look at is what is your rate of return, right? Because that's most important. So what we're going to do is take, we're going to take the 5,000, what was that, 156 divided by how much cash out of pocket?
20,000.
20,000, because that's what you invested into this deal, folks. Okay? Now that you invested into this deal, your rate of return on this deal would be 26%. Remember this number, okay. 26%. Now, my question to you guys is this. Would you rather pay cash to make a 9.2%, there goes all your money, $100,000, or leverage out your money, $20,000, leverage out another $80,000 to make a 26% return?
Wow.
And that's what we call the power of leverage, folks. Now, let's pretend, right, you have $100,000. Okay? But now you can go out and buy 5 properties because 20%, right, is $20,000 of 100,000. That means you can buy 5 properties.
Yeah.
So look at this. This is how fun this is. You have a house here, house here, house here, and another house here. 20,000, 20K, 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 20K. You're making 26%, 26%, 26, 26%, 26% on your money. So now with the power of leverage, look how many homes that you actually own within your portfolio, right? But now let's take a look. Every single year, you make 5,156 times 5 properties. Let's do the math on that real quick. Okay? So if we take 5,156 times 5 properties, you're making $25,000 a year. And that's with the power of leverage. So the question I have for you guys is this. Would you rather pay cash or finance and leverage out your money? Okay? Now keep in mind, this is what I want you to also think about. We have 5 homes here. Okay? You pay cash for one home for $100,000. You're only making a 9.2% return. However, if you go 1 month without a vacancy, that's a 100% vacancy. If this home goes vacant, you still have an 80% of vacancy rate. Okay? So I want you guys to let me know in the comments below, would you rather leverage out your money or would you actually pay cash? Also, if you guys like more content like this, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas. Peace.